Nope, we didn't. All right, welcome back, everybody. We we already had started this recording until I completely forgot to unmute the video. So we're starting again. Let me just go through the list of announcements that I have to make. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So right now, currently, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics are playing, or I guess 2021 Olympics, really from 2020. However, the obviously the Olympics weren't played during 2020 because they had to cancel it because of COVID. And even now there are no spectators, so not fun for Tokyo. But still, they are currently playing, and Americans are doing pretty well. They're currently in first in total medals and second in gold medals, so they're doing all right. Also, videos for the podcast over these next like 2 weeks are going to be there's going to be a lot of them, but after that they're going to be a little far and sparse because me and Sam are going to be all over the place. Texas or Sam is going down to Texas for college, and I'm going to be all over the place in Michigan on different kinds of vacations starting August 6th. So until that point, there should be plenty of videos to go by, but after that, I wouldn't expect anything for a few weeks while me and Sam are out and about. And Sam is settling in down in Texas. Also, am I forgetting something? I think I am.
Previous recording, you were talking about you were going to
Oh yes.
do as much editing.
So I'll be doing a little. I'll be doing some editing still for the reviews of the NFL divisions. Which, by the way, NFC and AFC South video is coming out very soon. I'm very close to finishing it. I just gotta buckle down and get it done and stop paying too much attention to the Olympics. You know I love it. Uh, I just gotta finish it. It'll be done. It should be out very soon. But we'll also be doing the East and the West coming out soon as well. Also, we'll be doing an Olympic video at some point. It's not going to be too in depth. It's really just going to be about who's leading and total medals and what's the most surprising thing and what we like to watch. That's really what that's going to be. But
You
other
think about it.
yeah,
When you
some
think about it, the Olympics are almost like March Madness because it's on like all the time, and it's just one after another, and it's just really exciting to watch. So why wouldn't you want to watch the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, they happen Summer Olympics obviously every 4 years. Winter Olympics, same thing, every 4 years. 2020 Beijing is coming up very soon. I don't know if we're doing a video for that. Probably not. We don't really watch the Winter Olympics. So, um, but anyways, I think that's all the announcements I have. I don't think I'm missing anything.
On to
So,
the NBA.
yes, on to the NBA. We will be going over NBA coaching changes, and then we'll be doing NBA draft stuff. We'll be going over our mocks. Oh, we do have an Instagram channel now. If you want to go to our Instagram page, it'll be in the description down below. But we have our mock drafts on there. That's what we'll be going off of. I think Sam might change a couple things, but I'm sticking with what I have. And then our last topic will be, of course, the NBA Finals, which I really don't want to talk about. But the NBA Finals,
It must happen.
yes. So we start with NBA head coaching here. The Wizards got themselves Wes Unseld Jr., who replaced Scott Brooks, who's now a Portland assistant head coach. I love that move for the Trailblazers. But Wes Unseld Jr. to the Wizards. Willie Green takes over for the Pelicans, taking over for Stan Van Gundy. Anything's better than Stan Van Gundy, so great move, Pelicans. And the Magic got themselves Jamal Mosley to replace Steve Clifford. I don't know. I don't know anything about either one. So I now pass it over to you, Sam, while I get a charger for the computer.
Alrighty, I will try to fill my words and talking. The Willie Green move to the Pelicans is really good for the Pelicans because it's, like you said, anybody but a Van Gundy, either Stan or Jeff Van Gundy. But the key for Willie Green going into this Pelicans team is one, they've already made a huge deal. They already signed away Steven Adams and a couple other picks, and they got Jonas Valanciunas. So that was kind of a big trade between the Grizzlies and the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. So they've already made some moves, and but one of the key moves one of the key things that Willie Green will have on his plate is developing a relationship with Zion Williamson. That's a really good player, and you want to keep him on your team long term. So he's going to have to make some moves to the GM office, to the coaching staff, or whatever, to keep Zion Williamson on board with the vision that the Pelicans want to have there down in New Orleans. And it's going to be really important because Williamson is a year away from his contract being extension eligible and potentially binding him to the Pelicans in his prime. So find out a way to keep Zion Williamson on the team and try to build around him because of that big trade that they had. So they're going to have to start putting some pieces around Zion Williamson if they want to keep Willie Green and, more importantly, Zion Williamson on Pelicans.
All right, so that's all we got on NBA head coaching. We move on now to NBA mock drafts, NBA drafts. So, obviously, the NBA draft, we are recording this on the 27th. It's obviously going to be in 2 days. So, we'll just go over kind of like what we said and who we're excited to kind of see in the draft. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I saw Sorbensky actually sent this to me. He said that there was a report that supposedly said that the Detroit Pistons were offered a trade by the Thunder that includes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a number 6 pick for number 1, which is an incredible deal, but I can get it from both ends of the perspective. I can get it from like accepting and declining. For accepting, you're getting a very young 22-year-old Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who is a fantastic player. So I could definitely see why the Pistons would make the trade and accept it. Because as much as Cade Cunningham is a great player, you get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a number 6 pick, which would be another top-of-the-line talent. But then I can see why the Pistons would decline it because, well, if you take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a number 6 pick, then you miss out on a generational talent such as Cade Cunningham. So I can see it from both ends of the coin, but definitely interesting there. Any thoughts on that, Sam?
Sorry, I got distracted there. The trade pick potential.
The trade that I don't know if the rumor is true, but there's a trade that was supposedly declined by the Pistons, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the number 6 pick for number 1. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I see it the same way you do. I can see the benefits and the pros and cons of basically either situation. You kind of know what you're getting out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been in the league a couple of years now, and but you also know what you're getting with Cade Cunningham, the obvious number 1 pick for the NBA draft for whoever's going to pick at the number 1 spot, which is going to be the Pistons. Now that we know that for sure, I would go with the unknown. I would go with the Cade Cunningham over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the number 6 pick, just because you just don't get this opportunity very often where you get the number 1 pick in the draft. And we've seen the Pistons botch picks so many times with certain leadership. Stan Van Gundy.
Yep.
With some other picks back in the day with a chance to get Donovan Mitchell over Luke Kennard, stuff like that. I would just go with Cade Cunningham just to such a good player. He's such a good player for Oklahoma State. I don't see why it shouldn't transition to the NBA.
Yeah, definitely a unique deal there. But of course, if you want to check these out for yourself, they're obviously on our Instagram page. But I'll just read off what we have. Sorbensky did his own mock draft too. I'll read his off. He's obviously not here to say why he picked what he picked, but this is what he has. Now, I actually completely forgot about that Grizzlies trade with the Pelicans. So I believe the Grizzlies got the number 10 pick out of that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so when we did these mock drafts, that trade did not happen. So this was still when the Pelicans had number 10. We had the Pelicans at number 10 in mind, what they needed. So with the Pelicans at number 10, uh, Serbinsky's mock draft was Cade Cunningham to the Pistons, Evan Mobley to the Rockets, Jalen Suggs to the Cavaliers, Jalen Green to the Raptors, Scotty Barnes to the Magic, Jonathan Kuminga to the Thunder, Davion Mitchell to the Warriors, Keon Johnson to the Magic, James Bouknight to the Kings, Jalen Johnson to the Pelicans, Franz Wagner to the Hornets, Isaiah Jackson to the Spurs, Corey Kispert to the Pacers, and then Kai Jones to the Warriors at 14. That is Srebensky's mock draft. As I said, he's not here to say why, but that's what Srebensky had. Now, what I had, I also had Cade. We all had Cade Cunningham as the number 1 pick. And then it just got all over the place after that. But we all had Cade Cunningham as number 1. I have Jalen Suggs at number 2 to the Rockets. I mean, obviously, Cade Cunningham is going to be the number 1 pick. At least you would hope. He's going to be the number 1 pick. We're cautiously optimistic due to the Pistons blowing it so many times. But hopefully Cade Cunningham goes number 1, seeing we probably aren't going to trade number 1 away. Number 2, I have Jalen Suggs to the Rockets. I know they do have Kevin Porter Jr. and maybe Evan Mobley makes a little more sense maybe in this situation, but I think Jalen Suggs is a great shooting guard. I think the Rockets would like to have shooting on their team because even though Kevin Porter Jr. is a decent player, he was not. He was in all over the place in his NBA career. I think getting someone like a surefire thing as Jalen Suggs is really going to help out Houston. Then we got for Cleveland, you have Jalen. For me, number 3 is Jalen Green for the Cavaliers. Jalen Green obviously was in the G League. Played pretty well in the G League as far as I know, I guess. So I have him going at 3. The Cavs are going to probably trade away. To me, I think the Cavaliers are probably going to go ahead and trade away Colin Sexton because Sexton is a little bit of a smaller shooting guard, and they already drafted Darius Garland, so Sexton doesn't really fit in. I think Jalen Green slots in very well at that shooting guard position. At number 4, I have Evan Mobley going to the Raptors. Now, if this actually happened, this would be an outstanding pick for the Raptors. A team that really doesn't have a great center. Getting someone like Evan Mobley would be amazing for the Raptors. I think that'd be awesome for Toronto. Number 5, I have Jonathan Kuminga. I know nothing about him, but the Magic need small forwards. So, Jonathan Kuminga. Thunder, I have getting Scotty Barnes, Florida State. Scotty Barnes, really good player. Really like him. He's got a lot of potential. Thunder obviously have 30 billion picks, so they can spend pretty much their picks on whoever the heck they want. So, I think Scotty Barnes is a good fit there. They need forwards. I think that fits there. Warriors at number 7, I have taking Donovan Mitchell as well. The Warriors need a shooter that's not named. Huh? Oh, Davion Mitchell. I'm sorry. No, there's not. It's not Jonathan Mitchell Jr. Davion Mitchell, Baylor. Davion Mitchell, very very good shooter and can play really good defense. I think this is going to be a great pick for the Warriors, assuming they actually take it. This is obviously a mock draft. But I think Davion Mitchell, that's really hard to say. I keep wanting to say Donovan Mitchell. Wow. But Davion Mitchell, I think, is going to fit in perfectly with the Warriors scheme, assuming he's taken at number 7. Magic at number 8, take Moses Moody out of Arkansas. Another good shooter. I watched him in college. He looked really good. I think this would be a perfect fit at number 8 for the Magic. Number 9 is Keon Johnson to the Kings. I believe Keon Johnson is a Tennessee power forward. Kings could use some big guys. I mean, they have Marvin Bagley already, but that's more of a center than it is a power forward. So I think getting another big guy down low would really help out Sacramento. Number 10, James Bouknight goes to the Pelicans. I like James Bouknight a lot. And the Pelicans, it seems like they might actually lose Lonzo Ball. So they might lose Lonzo. I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll match the offer. I'm sure he's going to get a crap ton of money. I don't know if the Pelicans are going to want to pay all that. So we'll see what happens there. But I think James Bouknight.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, yeah, because they don't have 10. But if the Pelicans still had 10, I had James Bouknight. Maybe James Bouknight still goes 10 to the Grizzlies. I don't know. But number 11, I have Kai Jones going to the Hornets. They need big guys. Kai Jones works for them. At number 12, I have Josh Giddey to the Spurs. I know nothing about Josh Giddey. I just put him at 12. Number 13, I have Corey Kispert going to the Pacers. I think this is a really underrated player, underrated pick. I think this will work out for the Pacers. They need themselves having a big guy that can shoot, bigger guy that can shoot really helps out just about any team. And then 14, I have Jalen Johnson going to the Warriors. Obviously pulled out early with Duke in his Duke days. He pulled out a little early in the season. So really interesting there, but I think that'd be a nice pick for the Warriors. That's what I have. I'll pass it over to Sam for his mock draft, which he has Cade Cunningham as one. You can explain why, but I think I know why.
Because everyone knows why, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we're not even going to discuss it. So number 2, he has Evan Mobley to the Rockets.
For the Rockets, I'll be honest, I did this really fast, and all I did was literally get rid of the foreign players, and then just moved everybody else up. So my picks probably make absolutely no sense, because I literally just moved them up the totem pole, and I did not go according to the needs of each team. But the Rockets have Evan Mobley from USC, correct?
Yes, Evan Mobley is USC.
Really liked what he did in the NCAA tournament. I liked how he fought and he hustled and made the Pac-12 proud. I'm sorry, I just don't know enough about these players. It's okay. I think you described them enough in your mock draft to each player's needs. So you don't have to go with mine. You can just say mine if you want to, but I won't describe each person individually.
All right. Well, I mean, for the sake of time, I guess that's better. So, if you want to see the rest of Sam's mock draft, head to our Instagram account. It'll be in the description down below. It might be like the 5th time I said that, but you can go ahead and check his out. Obviously, mine and Stravinsky's are also on there. And we have a few posts about the NBA playoffs as well. Me and Stravinsky will try to manage that account. Whichever one of us is able to get stuff on there, one of us will go ahead and do it. We'll see who just gets to it. We'll do stuff like the NFL and the MLB and all that. So, but that's all we have on the NBA draft that's happening Thursday. We'll do a review of the NBA draft when it actually happens. But that's it for that. And now we move on to the NBA Finals, where the Phoenix Suns, after the first 2 games, completely disappeared. But the Phoenix Suns losing in 6 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. I will say that Giannis played the game of his life in the last game. He was very, very good in Game 6. He was. I'll also say refereeing was absolutely terrible, but I can't say that anymore. They've been terrible the entire playoffs, so you gotta get used to it. But there's also one other thing I want to say, and it's just the complete laziness of the Phoenix Suns in this series after the first 2 games. It was honestly, and also another problem, like, I get trying to maybe go with the flow of the game and letting guys just kind of do what they want when they want. But when you have a team like the Phoenix Suns, they have a very young roster, very young team with I mean, obviously Chris Paul's been in the league forever, but guys like Devin Booker, I almost said Donovan Mitchell for some reason. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikhail. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. But Devin Booker, I almost said it again. Devin Booker, uh, wow, now I'm blacking out. DeAndre Ayton and Mikhail Bridges, all young guys for the Suns, and I mean haven't been in the league nearly as long. Probably combined they have half the experience as Chris Paul. So to me personally, I think it would make way more sense, especially in Game 4 and Game 5 when they had those late opportunities to possibly call a timeout and design a play. To call a timeout then and design a play. Let your guys calm down, get them on the sideline, give them a pep talk, draw up a play, something that the defense would not be expecting. In Game 4, I mean, Chris Paul slipping is just a freak accident. That is what it is. But Game 5, Devin Booker, he drove into the middle of the lane. He's surrounded by 3 people, and then he's just sitting there. He's panicking. He's trying to look to pass it away. I don't get why in that situation Monty Williams is not calling a timeout. Your guy is surrounded. He's not getting the ball out anywhere. So the best thing you can do in this situation is call timeout, get your guys to the sideline, and then design a play because that's the only option you have left. Because Booker is not going to get the ball out of there with Giannis, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton surrounding him, or somebody else. I don't know if it was Chris Middleton. I know Giannis and Holiday were 2 of the 3. I don't know who the other guy was. But my point is, you're surrounded like that. There's no way you're going to get the ball out of there. So where's the timeout call? And even in Game 4, you had 2 timeouts. So as much as Chris Paul's slipping is just a freak accident, where's the timeout call? Where'd DeAndre Ayton go in this series? He completely disappeared. You never heard anything from him in this series, which was a big killer for the Suns. But overall, it was lazy play. I'm watching them play, and they're standing around and watching Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Why do I want to say Donovan Mitchell? This is really irritating. But Devin Booker, they were just watching Devin Booker and Chris Paul running around everywhere and them doing everything. You gotta be involved in the play. I love how a coach of mine in high school put it, and what he said was, "Don't be a spectator of the game." Now he was a baseball coach, but what he always wanted us to do was like be involved in every play. If the ball's not coming to you and you move towards the ball, you're always moving on every play, and I liked that. I liked that phrase from him, but it really works for every sport. You can't be a spectator of the game. You can't just stand there and watch, especially basketball. You can't stand there and watch as your guys just running around with the ball. You gotta move, get open, be available for your guy. But Suns just weren't really doing that. It was lazy rebound. It was just it was awful to watch those last 4 games, which was really disappointing because I hate the Bucks and they shouldn't be winning the finals, but they did. So congratulations, Milwaukee. Don't really want to say that, but Giannis gets himself a ring. So I mean, as much as I hate Giannis, he does seem like a likable guy. So congratulations. Over to this man.
Yeah, he even made fun of himself when he was trolling himself when he was making fun of how long it took to take free throws like after he won the championship. Because like it matters at this point, but
yeah, because they don't ever call anyway. So
exactly. Or I was counting along with the crowd. The crowds count really fast, so it's like, come on, crowd, you guys know how to count. But
still, he's probably going over 10 seconds like every time. So
anyway, aside from that, completely, you cannot be a spectator. Basketball or any sport is not a spectator sport unless you want to just sit in the crowd and watch. That's where you can go. It was because you're one of the 5 chosen on the court. You are called to play the game. Whether it's something that my coach told me all the time too back in high school for basketball, is that you cannot be standing around. You got to be doing something. You're either moving towards the ball, setting screens, cutting away from the ball, cutting towards the basket, setting screens for guys that don't have the ball, even too. Just getting people open. And the Suns clearly just didn't know how to do that. It was after game one, the Suns had won 118-105, and ESPN was like going crazy about, oh wow, the Suns have just such a good game plan. And then the Bucks head coach, I'm not sure his name, Budenholzer.
Mike Budenholzer.
Budenholzer. They were just saying, one of his lines would say, play fast and play random. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would a coach ever say that? But clearly, for the Bucks, worked out enough because the Suns didn't know how to react to that. After that, they didn't know what to do because they were put in extremely difficult situations. The Bucks made them take shots they didn't want to take, long 3-pointers, awkward-looking shots even a lot of the times. And with the Bucks, they just have so much length on their team too, with Giannis and Brook Lopez, and you got people surrounding you all the time with like a bees or like a beehive just around. You know, the bees swarming the beehive all around. That's how I think of when I think of Drew Holiday playing defense. An absolute monster on defense, shutting people down. And then actually, I with the play you were talking about, it was Giannis, and it was Holiday, and it was PJ Tucker. That was the other guy that was on him. It was PJ Tucker that was all on Devin Booker, as he literally just could not do anything because they were all around him. He literally just gave it. Well, he didn't give it. Like Drew Holiday ripped the ball and led Giannis to alley-oop to seal Game 5. But yeah, incredible performance by the Bucks. Fortunately, as Pistons fans, hurts to see, hurts to watch, and he's really rooting for the Suns. Really rooting for CP3. Want to see him to get a ring one of these days. He said, I believe, in a press conference after the finals that it's not done yet. He's not retiring. He's coming back to the Suns for another year. And I don't know if the Suns will have the same things going for them that they had this year, that they had the stars aligned for them pretty much. They started out playing the Lakers, but then Anthony Davis did get hurt midway through that series, so that made it a little bit easier for them. Then they played the Nuggets, they swept, and then they beat Kawhi Leonard-less Clippers, so really everything lined up. And then they were playing the Bucks, which we didn't think were going to do anything, but then they had a game plan against them. The stars really aligned with the Suns this year. I don't know if it's going to happen again in years to come, especially with other teams getting better as they go along, and Chris Paul is not getting younger. But well done by the Bucks. Got their first championship in 50 years, and gotta go back to the Suns. Just gotta go back to the drawing board. See what you did wrong, just like you pointed out earlier.
Yeah. So that is it for our NBA episode. Wow, we actually were under a half hour. That's pretty good. So that'll be it for this episode. Yes, right. But that'll be it for us. We'll see you for the next NBA episode, which will be on the NBA draft once it happens on Thursday. Other than that, that'll be it for us. We'll see you in that episode, and then other ones to come. Maybe an Olympic episode today. I don't know. Maybe we'll have time for it. But that's it for all of us. We'll see you next time. Adios, everybody.